Hello friends, I welcome you all to this session or basically this particular playlist, and this is my first video. So in this particular video we'll be learning about that how to find out the sum of first and natural numbers. What are natural numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. So how to find out the sum? So if you want to use, you can also use what you can use is this formula, the sum of first natural numbers. So if I'm interested in finding out the sum of first four natural numbers, so n will be 4 and then 4 plus 1 divided by 2. So this will become 4 times 5 by 2. So this will become 10. So 4 plus 3, 7 plus 2, 9 plus 1, 10. So this is what the formula says. And let's say if I'm not interested in finding out the formula, then what? So how to think this? Now the one thing is, if you look that these are nothing but counters. So one, then after one it is coming two, then after two it is coming three, then after three it is coming four, and so on. So this is a range of numbers which is starting from one and going up to that particular number uh, till that number where I wanted the sum. So how to do that? So let us start with this particular case. In general, how we do it? We will take this one, then add 2 to it, then whatsoever be the result, then that will be added to 3. Then whatsoever will be the result, that will be added to 4. So initially, let's say the sum is 0. Then I will be adding this 0, this 1. Then what will be the output? The output will be 1. Then what I'll be doing is I will be adding this one to the next number, that is 2. So what will be the output? So the output will be 3. Then I will be taking this as and adding the next number, that is 3. So what will be the output? It will be 6. Then again I will be adding the same s to the next number, that is 4. What will be the output? 10. Got the answer. So what we are doing is we are using some counter sort of thing. Okay. And at the same time, we are adding the same result to the S. So in this way, we can write our program. So let us move to the Jupyter notebook and write it. So first, I'll be requiring a number. Let's say that is n, which is supplied by user. So how to supply the number from keyboard? Use this function input and then pass a string, enter a number so that the user knows what has to be entered. Okay, but the problem is this particular entry will always return or will give me what a number in string form. For example, print n. Okay, so if I run it, it will say enter a number. So let's say I have given 10, then it is giving me 10. But you must be thinking that this 10 is number. No, this is string. So to check it, we have to use another function known as type. So let us check the type of this particular n. So let's say it is 10. Oh, now you can see it is string. So what has to be done? This number has to be typecasted. So change it, its type has to be changed. So let's say I am converting this into integer. Now if you run this same number, now it is integer. So whenever I am giving some number from the keyboard, that has to be typecasted to integer, otherwise it will be a string and we will not be able to work on it. So next, let us use the formula. Let's say sum assigned, that formula is n times n plus 1 divided by 2. Now let's print the sum. So it is first 4, let's say, so it is coming as 10. So if I run it again and let's say first 5, so it is 15. So in this way this formula works. Now if I am not interested in using this formula, I am interested in let's say writing a proper program for it. So there are two ways you can do it. First, you can use while loop. So let's take one iteration counter I and assign it 0. Okay, or let's not say I, let's say, okay, let's say I itself and start it with 1, y1, because I is that particular counter which has to be added to the number, that s, remember that, which I have shown you, that s. So s, then it is 1, then 2, then 3, and then 4. So I is that counter. Then let's make one s for sum and initialize it with 0. That is what we have done. So initialize this with 0. Okay. Now write a for loop. Sorry, let's start with while. While this I is less than or equal to n. Okay. And then inside it, what I have to do, I have to add update s as s plus I. What I am doing is, in the first instance, s will be what? 0. Then the moment it enters, so s will become s plus I, that is 0 plus 1, and so on. So let us print this as inside the loop and see how this thing works. So, this will go to infinity. Why? Because we have started with I as 1, but we have never incremented it. So what it will do? It will just add 1 up to infinity, because this condition will always become true. So what we have to do is, we have to stop this program. Means we have to increment I so that this condition will get satisfied once. That means when I become n. So how that is done? I assigned I plus 1. Now if you run this, you will see that initially it is 1, then s becomes 1, then I, that is I will become what? 2, then here, and then it will go again, check whether 2 is less than or equal to n. So the condition gets satisfied, it will come here. So now it is 1, but I has become 2. So 1 plus 2 will become 3. So it will print, and in this way this particular thing works. So therefore, the final sum you want to print, you can write it here simply, that the sum, let me write it as f string, format string, sum assigned, or sum is equal to not assigned. So if we run it, so the sum is coming as 50. So that is how we can use while loop to get the sum of first and natural numbers. So how to do this using for loop? So for I in range, range is a function which creates a sequence of numbers from given number up to the one less than the last number. So its syntax is like start, then stop, and then incrementation. Okay, so starting number is what? Starting number, we are starting with I as 1. Okay, stopping is at n. But here, if I write n, so it will stop at 1 less than n. So I have to write it as n plus 1. Incrementation is by default taken as 1. So if I write 1, it doesn't matter. It will do the same thing if I don't write anything, because incrementation is by default what? 1. Then colon to make the block of this for, and then inside what I have to do, I have to write the same thing. What? Initialize this with 0 first. So we'll be writing like this, and then we will be just printing, we'll be just evaluating the sum like this, and then finally printing the output. So here is your sum. So friends, in this way, we can print the sum of first n natural numbers given by user. So what we have done is, first we have shown you that how to use formula, then how to use while loop, and then how to use for loop for this particular task. So in this lecture, this much only. In the next lecture, we'll be learning about different problem. Thank you very much for watching it.